Could you tell us a little more about the Nutritarian diet that you...
Well, just think about this for a minute, because we have thousands of scientific studies, and I've reviewed about 30,000 studies to cull out the maybe 1,000 or 2,000 that's most important here. But we have so many studies demonstrating that certain foods we could choose to eat have very powerful anti-cancer effects. And even so, and I break these foods down into 6 different categories of foods that have powerful anti-cancer effects. But the first one is green vegetables. And we know that we're a green vegetable dependent on, excuse me a second. Wish I had a glass of water, but I don't.
Wish I could.
I'm talking to myself. I take your glass of water out of the screen.
Why don't you know we have time? Why don't you? Do you want to get up and get something?
Yeah, excuse me 1 second.
Sure, absolutely. This will give me an opportunity to thank everyone who's joining us tonight from Heart Smarts. Please feel free to put your comments in, or your questions in the comment section, and we will get to as many of them as we can. And boy, it's a terrible feeling, when you get that little tickle in your throat. And we have so many more questions for him this evening, so we want to make sure he feels top notch. How lucky we are to have Dr. Fuhrman here and the Heart Smart community.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect timing.
So we were talking about the fact that we have these studies showing that we are a green vegetable dependent animal, and that the epithelial lymphocytes that line the digestive tract, the defenders at the gates of the castle, are supported, their growth and their health is supported by green vegetable intake. Green vegetables are also primary or essential for building the health of the microbiome and developing a protective biofilm that covers the villi, and particularly the green cruciferous vegetable family, which is the family of broccoli and Brussels sprouts and kale and collards and bok choy and cabbage, contains these very strongly anti-cancer nutrients called isothiocyanates. So I started with green vegetables and saying that if you don't eat green vegetables, you might as well live close to a hospital, because as a primate, they're absolutely essential to develop normal immune function, including protection against cancer, right? And then we have 5 other foods represented by the letters GBOMBS, GBOMBS, which stands for greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. So we start out with a Nutritarian diet, identifying the food categories that have been most linked to longer lifespan and low risk of cancer. And so we identify them with the GBOMBS. And so beans are an important source of important food for us to extend lifespan. Onions, tremendously powerful anti-cancer effects. Berries and other fruits in that category. Seeds like flax seeds, chia seeds, sesame seeds, hemp seeds, incredibly powerful, and contain omega-3s and are rich in lignans that have very powerful effects against breast and prostate cancer. And we can go into mushrooms, are a big category here. Mushrooms very powerfully lower estrogen stimulation of breast and prostate tissue and have very powerful anti-angiogenic properties. Anti-angiogenic means they prevent the growth of fat. They prevent the growth of blood vessels growing abnormally to fuel the growth of fat. And the foods that promote angiogenesis, like higher intake of saturated fat and animal proteins, also allow tumor cells to glean a blood supply and grow, whereas mushrooms are powerfully anti-angiogenic and say, I'm not going to let you grow fat and I'm not going to let you grow cancer. So they don't let blood cells grow to fuel cancer. And the mushrooms also are powerful aromatase inhibitors, which means aromatase is the enzyme that produces estrogen that raises risk of then breast and prostate cancer. So I'm saying body fat activates the aromatase system to produce more estrogen, and mushrooms prevent that. But in any case, I'm saying that a Nutritarian diet is very prescriptive in that it recommends people eat a salad every day with cruciferous vegetables on it, that we eat about an ounce. We eat about an ounce and a half to 3 ounces of nuts and seeds a day. We put maybe a half an ounce or an ounce of nuts with each meal, which adding that degree and that type of fat, we can absorb about 40 times more of the phytochemicals that prevent cancer. We eat a salad or we eat broccoli and green vegetables. We eat onions every day. We eat green vegetables raw and cooked. We eat some beans every day, maybe a half a cup of beans every day. We eat some mushrooms every day, and we eat, obviously, we're talking about berries, and we've mentioned seeds already. So we're eating these foods every day. And then it's not all we're eating, but we're definitely restricting those foods like animal products, especially the foods that have the closest link to cancer. And we know that diets higher in animal protein produce more pro-inflammatory bacteria in the gut, more gram-negatives that produce more endotoxins that then cause more permeability of the digestive tract, the exposure of viruses and other toxins into the bloodstream, and of course, excitation through through TMAO, or trimethylamine oxide, from the bacteria that eating a high animal product diet promotes, and also the diets richer in animal protein produce more hormones like IGF-1 that could promote cancer. So I'm saying right now that the Nutritarian diet is hormonally favorable because we're not eating high glycemic carbohydrates like sugar and white flour. Our carbohydrates are low glycemic, like beans and spaghetti squash and beets. And, so we're eating healthy carbohydrates, and we're eating a lot of beans, which are very low glycemic. And we're mixing that with other vegetables and nuts and seeds and things that keep the animal protein, that keep protein low but adequate. We get enough plant protein, but not the animal protein. And I think if somebody asked me in the chat box, or if we answered that question right off the bat, what's the most profound and interesting and important finding in the scientific literature regarding cancer of the last decade, the answer would be that more animal protein in the diet increases cancer in a dose-dependent manner, from smaller amounts to larger amounts, and shortens lifespan accordingly. And that's been documented now in more than 10 large-scale epidemiologic trials following people for 25, 30 years, looking at hard endpoints of age of death. And increasing the amount of plant protein in the diet has the opposite effect, to extend human lifespan. So we're at a point in human history where we're using scientific literature and the scientific studies to instruct people they don't have to get cancer and heart disease. We have this unprecedented opportunity to extend lifespan 20 years or more in people who have access to this information, because we can construct a diet that's rich in these anti-cancer materials and low in these factors that promote cancer. The question is, though, how does animal protein increase cancer and plant protein increases decrease cancer? That's an important point to understand, which maybe we can get into, maybe we won't. But you asked me, what is a nutritarian diet? And a nutritarian diet is essentially the healthiest way to eat. It's taking science. It's not a blue zone diet. It's not a plant-based whole foods diet necessarily, even though it is plant-based whole foods. It's a diet designed with the particular foods in mind that have the most longevity-promoting effects and cancer-protective effects, and teaching people how to utilize these foods and include them in their diet in adequate amounts to get the full protection from their anti-cancer benefits, including the knowledge of how to cook it and how to eat it to get the nutrients into the body. Let me give you just one example, okay, about this. Because the data on the isothiocyanates, those are the ITCs in green vegetables like broccoli, green cruciferous vegetables, one of the most powerful anti-cancer substances you can consume in the body are the ITCs from green vegetables. But their anti-cancer effects correlates best with urinary ITCs, not the ITCs on your plate or in your diet. And the reason for that, this is very important now, is because the ITCs that prevent cancer are not in the food that's on your plate. They're formed in your mouth as you chew the food and break open the cells. So the amount of anti-cancer protection you get from that food is dependent on how well you chew and break open the cells while you're chewing them in your mouth. Also, the myrosinase enzyme that fabricates the ITCs while you're chewing, and you're breaking down the cell walls and releasing these packets of enzyme to form this chemical reaction in your mouth, that enzyme is heat sensitive and can be deactivated if you cook the vegetable too much. So the urinary ITCs, or the blood ITCs, are dependent on the amount of the vegetables eaten whether they're eaten raw or partially cooked, or whether they're overcooked and damaged, and how well a person chews it. And because people aren't cognizant of the need to chew these vegetables really well, they're not getting the full bloodstream potential and the most protective effects out of it as possible. So us Nutritarians, for example, eat a salad every day. I just had one for lunch with lettuce and arugula and some shredded kale on it. And then I had onion and scallion in there too, and tomatoes, of course. And then I had a dressing made of nuts and seeds that had sesame seeds, which are high in lignans that prevent cancer. And I had sesame seeds and cashews with a blood orange vinegar. I had some navel oranges mixed with blood orange vinegar and lemon and cashews and sesame seeds blended up as a dressing for the salad, because when you use a nut or seed-based dressing, you absorb 40 times more of those anti-cancer phytochemicals. Now the trick is I had to sit there and eat that salad with the arugula in there, with the kale in there, with the lettuce and the onion, and I had to chew it really well. I had to be mindful enough to fully liquefy it in my mouth before I allowed it to be swallowed, get the maximum benefit from the ITCs, from the cruciferous vegetables and the organosulfide compounds that powerfully protect against cancer in the onion family. That when you eat raw onion or raw scallion, these are incredibly powerful anti-cancer effects. And I'm saying that the studies that I've reviewed and the studies I present in my lectures show that any one of these substances, one of these foods that you can include in your diet, like the eating of cruciferous vegetables in cancer patients reduced risk of death from breast cancer by more than 50%. The utilizing of onions in your diet regularly reduces risk of most common cancers by 50 to 88%. The risk of mushrooms regularly in your diet. We're talking about a study on lignans from flax seeds and sesame seeds showing the reducing risk of death from breast cancer over a 10-year period by more than 71%. So we're talking about each one of these food factors looked at individually has a powerful effect. But when we put together a dietary portfolio that includes all these foods in the diet in one dietary portfolio, and you're consuming all these foods every day on a daily basis, then we become essentially cancer-proof. Now, it doesn't mean every person is going to not get cancer, because obviously some people are starting it too late in life, and some people have other exposures in them. But I'm saying right now that it's wrong to think that cancer is predominantly genetics. Our genes are formed and our genes mutate and change predominantly based on what we eat. And scientists call gene silencing, means when you eat enough green vegetables, onions, and mushrooms, the abnormal sections of your genes are silenced and are not expressed that would increase your cancer risk. That's why women with the GSTP1 gene or BRCA1 gene that increases risk of breast and prostate cancer, their risk of getting cancer is tremendously reduced when they eat cruciferous vegetables and onions. The WHEAL study, the Women's Healthy Eating and Living study, showed a dramatic lowering risk of cancer in all women, particularly those women who had the gene for cancer also had tremendously lower risk of cancer in proportion to they ate green vegetables and vegetables in general. And they also showed in that same study that when you ate vegetables with some fruit in the diet, you had even better effects than eating vegetables without the fruit. Showing that what we strive for as Nutritarians is plant food diversity. That when we have a variety of plant foods in the diet, we increase our potential for longer lifespan. And we have this potential today to wide diversity of foods. So we're saying not even eat green vegetables, eat many different types of green vegetables, eat various varieties of mushrooms, eat various varieties of berries and fruit, and eat different varieties of seeds and nuts, and eat different varieties of so we're striving for these high amounts of these anti-cancer foods at the same time as we're increasing our nutritional diversity and our fiber diversity. Different types of fiber. You can't just take Metamucil or take psyllium husk and then think just getting high fiber is the answer. We know now from more recent research that getting a diverse amount of many different types of fiber makes for the healthiest microbiome and the most protection against cancer.